here with Detective Constable Jon Hill from Cumbria Police's Cyber and Digital Crime Unit to discuss updates in cybercrime and things businesses need to be on lookout for. Jon, can you start off by providing an update on the current cyber threat landscape? What are we seeing and how have things changed over the past couple of years?
Yeah, the cybercrime over the last few years, cybercrime continued to grow. It's the fastest growing crime type in the country. I think things have changed. Three main things really. The pandemic for sure, that forced a sudden shift in the way work's conducted. Millions of people working remotely from home, using their own devices. That led to difficulties. I think it's fair to say that caught a lot of businesses by surprise, like how to effectively manage their security around that area. Secondly, the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, that's changed a lot. It's not just a targeting of people's perception. They would be targeting big national, international companies and critical national infrastructure, but it's increased in the targeting of small and medium businesses too. And again, related to the pandemic in some way, there's been a significant shift in businesses utilizing sort of cloud environments from there, moving away from their traditional sort of network architecture that they would, which has provided criminals different opportunities to commit cybercrime, and businesses giving them different considerations for their cybersecurity, really. So, as the environment changes, as it has done, cybercrime evolves with it. And unfortunately, that's backed up by the statistic that I think 40% of small and medium-sized businesses have been the victim or targeted by a cyber attack last year and the year before that. So it's still a case of not if, but when it may happen. So given that ever-changing, evolving presence, it's really important for businesses to consider their cybersecurity. They have to think, how do I prepare for that? How do I better protect myself and my business or the business I work for? It's a key element in that.
Wow, yeah, those figures really are shocking. The majority of businesses in the UK are SMEs, so if 40% of them are suffering cyber attacks, it must be having a huge effect on the economy as a whole.
It does. I mean, it costs the UK economy billions and billions each year. And it's not necessarily just the financial impact on businesses. It can have a huge knock-on effect of customer confidence and a whole range of things. So, yeah, for sure, protecting ourselves before it happens is the key area there.
What are the current big trends in cybercrime and the big threats that businesses in the UK are coming up against?
The biggest threat, ransomware. Ransomware remains the biggest threat to businesses in the UK. It's carried out by like financially motivated criminals. They gain access to your business's network and they restrict access to all your files, and they can hold you to ransom in two ways. Either saying pay us a ransom in order to get your data back, or pay us a ransom or we will leak all your company's data on the internet, which can be more damaging to a company. These are usually conducted by phishing emails, which we'll come on to. But these ransomware attacks are crippling to businesses of all sizes, especially small and medium businesses who may have, not have the ability to respond and recover as well, or who've, not prepared effectively for the likelihood of something like this occurring. So, as an example, I've investigated a number of cases. A business will tell me, it's okay, we've made backups. So we backed up our data from last week. Well, yeah, that's great, but the backups, that's not in the cloud. They weren't air gapped. They were on USBs plugged straight into the server. So all the backups were encrypted too, and then they find they've got nothing to fall back on. And that's just an example that highlights the need for knowledge out there to prepare for businesses to prepare better and protect themselves better against certainly ransomware attacks, which I foresee will increase in scale because of the way they're being conducted. Criminals that normally conduct them, they're offering like ransomware as a service now. We will do this on behalf of the people. They're providing their criminal associates or affiliates with instructions and tools and the means to actually commit these offences. So yeah, ransomware is the biggest cyber threat to businesses in the UK right now.
Wow, that's shocking, isn't it? That there are criminals providing services to other criminals in cybercrime. Is that kind of happening through like the dark web?
Yeah, the way it is, various criminal forums that they discuss this on, and yeah, just sell their wares over the dark web or via other chat forums, and yeah, provide this ransomware now as a service for other criminals to use, which is only going to increase the number of attacks that we're likely to see.
That point about the dark web perhaps leads us into our next question, which is, what are the difficulties faced by law enforcement of investigating cybercrime? Very difficult to trace people online. Can you just give us a sense of the challenge that Cumbria Police faces in this regard?
I think it's a challenge Cumbria we face locally, regionally, nationally, internationally. Certainly here in Cumbria, I know we will always pursue offenders of cybercrime when we can, but we have to be realistic. We will always face difficulties. If you look at these network of criminals committing ransomware attacks, they're outside of the UK jurisdiction. Countries like Russia, Iran, or China are the obvious ones to think of. We will not identify and successfully prosecute these people. Yes, we may impose sanctions, but that won't put a stop to the offending. And criminals, like you say, the dark web, but criminals have a myriad of tools to hide their activity and mask their locations to really frustrate us. And I won't even delve too deep into how they can launder the proceeds of their crime as well through cryptocurrency in various ways. So there are so many ways to frustrate law enforcement. We must realize that with the scale of it's so big, we won't arrest our way out of the problem. So that's why protecting ourselves and protecting our businesses has to be the priority here.
And on that note, what advice can you give to help businesses and individuals protect themselves?
A number of ways, really, that I'm really keen and quite excited to share with businesses in Cumbria. First, some things, there's initiatives that we'll come on to. But some things remain the same from when we last spoke, and one constant narrative that we really need to hit home is the awareness and education of staff. If you look at cybercrime as a whole, over 90% of malicious software is successfully deployed by phishing emails. And that's us, the user, clicking on something by mistake, or entering our login details because the email looked like it was from Office 365 wanting you to update your credentials, but it wasn't. It was fake, but it looked so convincing. We did it before we even thought about it. One of the biggest vulnerabilities lies within your own four walls of the business, and that's you and your staff being susceptible to phishing emails, messages, and texts. Emails by far the most popular for criminals to use because it's just so easy for them. It's vitally important, I think, to your business's security that staff have the knowledge and the confidence to challenge and most definitely report any suspicious contact or anything they may have inadvertently clicked on. A business whose staff are aware of the threat of phishing emails, always proactively thinking about where these files have come from, why they are receiving them, and what they are requesting is really valuable, and that prevents the attacks before they even occur. And one of the things to assist with this, the NCSC, the National Cybersecurity Centre, they've got a staff training video. It's 15 minutes long, really good. It's just updated. We're going to put the link on the Cumbria Chamber website. It's a fantastic thing to get your staff to do. 15 minutes, staff can do it at a little lunchtime, and then do it again in 6 months as well. Keep it fresh in their minds. It's all about the phishing emails and what to be aware of, and how to keep your staff the knowledge of how to keep your business safe as well. So that's one of the key things. But there are obviously new initiatives as well within the last couple of years that I'd really like to mention too.
Yeah, those initiatives that you touched on there, things like the Police Cyber Alarm, Northwest Cyber Resilience Centre. Can you talk a bit about these? They're really useful resources for businesses.
Yeah, I'll start with the police cyber alarm. A new version of this has come out recently, sort of like the version 2, to where I think it's brilliant. It's a free tool. It's funded by the Home Office. It's provided by the police to help businesses monitor and report suspicious cyber activity. It can provide like a business report on that suspicious activity it faces, and it enables a business to sort of like take action and mitigate and prevent that risk that's out there. To describe how it works, it's really quite simple in that you just have to install a small data collector onto your network, and that captures all the incoming traffic to your organization from the internet. It doesn't capture the content of traffic like email, so there's no issues around personal data or intellectual property. It collects all the sort of metadata and the header information, and it just monitors all of that. And because it's only a monitoring system, it doesn't interfere with your business's network operations either. And all the data it collects, it's sent to the police data center to analyze. And from that, if you're a member of the police cyber alarm, you can get reports summarizing the suspicious activity that's been detected, and helps you then respond to stop that threat from there. And you can also opt in to have some vulnerability scanning as well, to provide regular reports around that. And it just really bolsters your business's cyber security. And I know since this new version's out, there's several thousand members nationally now, and it's one of those tools that's it's like strength in numbers. You know, the more there is, the more we know, the more people that we can protect. And it's a great tool, and it's a great tool for us as well as the police, because that data that we can capture nationally, it helps us identify maybe the source of some attacks and build a much clearer picture of the cyber threats that we're facing. So yeah, there's several thousand members now nationally. It's grown year on year. It's easy to sign up for. It's a fantastic tool to help keep your business safe. And did I mention it's free, which is often appealing to many.
Yeah, that is definitely a great resource, and we'll put the link for that in the show notes. There's also the NCSC early warning system, and as I mentioned before, the Cyber Resilience Center. Can you expand a bit on those as well, please?
Yeah, sure. A couple of things. The Northwest Cyber Resilience Center, again, I think it's great. I mean, this was founded in 2019. It's like a not-for-profit venture between police and industry professionals that provides small businesses affordable and professional cybersecurity services. It's really focused on those small businesses who may not have the budget to consider their full like cybersecurity need, really, or that they're maybe just beginning or unsure in their sort of journey in cybersecurity and want to learn from some trusted partners, some trusted sources before maybe investing in private sort of solutions. It offers a range of services, like security awareness training for your staff. They get that key point of targeting staff there and making them aware of the threats. They also do like simulated phishing exercises, website and vulnerability assessments, but also that is constantly able to feed you with like regular advice and tips and newsletters and information to help better protect your business. Yeah, the Northwest Cyber Resilience Center, I think it's fantastic. It's brilliant in how it can support small and medium-sized businesses. And like I say, the links will be on the chamber, Cumbria Chamber site as well. And there's always, I think my details will be on there too. If anybody ever wanted any more details about them, to contact them directly or contact with me, I'm more than happy to speak with anybody about these. And yeah, last thing, which is another one, that the NCSC's early warning system. It's just another string to your bow, really, another tool for your armory to help protect your business. It's yeah, the early warning system, it's a service to alert your business of potential cyber attacks as soon as possible, which it differs slightly to the police cyber alarm. It utilizes a variety of different information feeds from the National Cybersecurity Centre, its trusted sources, commercial partners, and some other privileged feeds that aren't available elsewhere. And all that required, if your business has got a static IP address and a domain name, and you register that with the NCSC, and they compare those across millions and millions of different feeds every day. And if they identify something that's kind of indicative of a cybersecurity compromise or a threat there, they collate that information and are able to alert your business as soon as possible. And just as an example, recently within Cumbria, somebody who had the early warning system, within 2 hours, they had identified and helped stop a ransomware attack from being successfully deployed against a business in Cumbria, who had a vulnerability that they were unaware of. And I mean, within 2 hours, how could that not be a great thing to have if you can? And it's again, that's a free tool, fully funded by the National Cybersecurity Centre, and it's another great layer to enhance your business's security.
Yeah, that's really useful there. I should add that chamber members can now access free cybersecurity review as part of their membership, delivered by David Allen IT Solutions. So if you're feeling unsure about any of this, not sure where to start, not sure where to kind of look for weaknesses in your system, then that's a really good thing to access. The David Allen's engineers will come and visit your business and write you a plan on how you can strengthen your system against cybercrime. John, one last question before you go. Can I just ask you, if a business is a victim of cybercrime, why is it important for that business to report it to the police?
It's vitally important, says I as a police officer, of course, but cybercrime is still hugely underreported. Joe, action fraud is a national reporting mechanism. So if somebody was a victim of cybercrime, they report it to action fraud, and then it obviously comes back to us. And I can see the frustrations and concerns some businesses may have around the reporting of cybercrime. I think with what we've mentioned, perpetrators, they're outside of the UK and UK law, the way they hide themselves, mask their activity. People may think, how could the police actually help, really, in the first instance? And with organisations, there's that fear if they report it, there may be the reputational damage, customer confidence. How does that affect future business? Really, I understand those. But from us, from a law enforcement point of view, we can only get a clearer picture of current trends and emerging threats of what offences are happening if we know what's happening. And if we know what's happening, we can better warn organisations about those emerging threats and those trends and those crime types so that they can protect themselves better. And we have the opportunity to tackle those threats ourselves. I think it's incredibly important to report it.
What's the best way for a business to report a cybercrime?
If the national reporting mechanism is to report it to action fraud. Depending on the size of your business, you can report it directly to the National Cybersecurity Centre as well. But action fraud is a reporting mechanism. If there was a crime that was ongoing, yes, to call the police via 101 or obviously 999 in any emergency. But if there was a crime that was ongoing and you had means to identify who the suspect might be, then yes, call the police. But action fraud is the way to report some crime. If I could just touch on, Joe, just at the end, there's a quote that I had from the National Cybersecurity Centre is that they're striving to make the UK the safest place to live and work online. The way they do that, and for me, it's about like kind of making Cumbria the safest place to live and work online. It's by doing this, it's by that education, it's by imparting our knowledge and raising the awareness to ensure people are informed of what to do and what they can use and what is available to them to make it that way. And I think if we all have that mindset and we use these initiatives, that we've talked about here, to actually embrace those for your businesses, I think will go a very, very long way to making that happen. So thank you for your time and letting me talk about those today.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Thank you.